2002, the Seneca, is it the Red Hawks?
Red Hawks at the time.
The Seneca Red Hawks are a force to be reckoned with on the wrestling mat. And our guest here today is a good reason for that. If you would, introduce yourself.
I am Ben Vessels, and I was the 189-pound state champion in 2002.
And before we go any further, how does a young Ben Vessels find wrestling?
Well, my dad wrestled for Fern Creek in 1970, and he was actually a state champion at 185. And so my freshman year of high school, I met Coach Anderson and started wrestling, and the rest is history.
So you started as a freshman?
I did.
Wow, that's because we're just a year apart in school, 2002, 2003. You know, being in the city of Louisville, was there, like, I know, like where I'm from, we didn't have middle school wrestling. We didn't have elementary wrestling. We do now, of course, but back then in the late 90s, we didn't have it. Was there like any clubs or anything around that you like you just went to the gym and started wrestling?
I believe maybe some of the Catholic schools had clubs, but it wasn't popularized yet.
I got you. Okay.
And so basically freshman year, I sought out Coach Anderson and told him I wanted to join the wrestling team after football season, and I realized I was in for a lot more than what I was bargaining for.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun.
I completely understand. That's kind of, too small to play football, but that was kind of Coach Darren Gamble. His son now Blake took over at John Central. That was kind of our families kind of knew each other. I knew he was a wrestling coach, and he saw me. I went to a vending machine. I never will forget this. And I got a package of like cookies, and I was walking down the hall, and he's like, "Son, you're going to get fat. You can't wrestle 112 pounds for me if you keep on eating these cookies." And I wasn't that big at all. And I remember like a week before, he come to me and was like, "Hey, wrestling practice starts Monday. Have your shorts. We'll get you a pair of shoes later." I was like, I guess I'm on the wrestling team. There was, there was no camps, there was no youth program. So it's kind of cool to see how, what you can do in 4 years when you, I guess, apply yourself. You're around the right people. You have a good support system. Like, I think you're talking about Jim Shaw off camera. Jim Shaw was like only a 2-year wrestler, and he ended up winning his senior year, 1999. So it's kind of cool that, you can start, maybe not as a senior and win it, but at least start in high school right out of the gate and be able to win.
I was fortunate. Seneca had a state champion in '98 by the name of Dean Williams.
Dean, yep.
And my coach's son was also a collegiate wrestler, and so in the summertime I would work out with them as much as I could and just try to absorb as much from them, along with the beatings I took. So it was 4 years of year-round wrestling to try to catch up and get as best I could.
And we're in the city of Louisville today doing videos. Earlier today, we was at Trinity High School. We done Alex Ray's 1990 video and Richard Brown's memorial from 1991. But you talked about Dean. They asked me if I had Dean's video just out of the clear blue sky. And 1998, we put it on, watched the first period or so. So it's kind of cool that you brought that up.
Oh, wow.
But you said your dad wrestled undefeated. Mm-hmm. You were undefeated your senior year, right?
I was 47-0.
Well, especially in 2002, not that many teams had or schools had wrestling, I should say. So 47 matches in a season is a lot. Then.
It's quite a lot. Coach, it was 2 matches a week, and obviously 2 meets a week, I should say. Every Wednesday and Saturday we were somewhere wrestling.
Wow.
It was. I think Neil Crawford was my teammate, and in 2001 he won, and I believe he was 51 or 52-0.
Wow!
We wrestled so many matches every year.
My goodness! Now, Dean's uncle, we also have his 1969 video on the channel, Dwight Williams. So you guys, after you watch this, you need to go check it out because it's pretty cool to see how wrestling's evolved from 1969 to to even like when we wrestled to now. You can see such a difference. My absolutely. Goodness, the wrestling,
the evolution of it.
It's just crazy to see. So you start wrestling as a freshman. How did you do your freshman year? You remember like your record, how you made it state or anything of that nature?
I did not qualify for state my freshman year, and I was close to 50-50. I know I had close to 50 matches, so I know I was around 25 and 25 or somewhere right there.
You remember what weight you wrestled?
I was 160.
So you kind of stayed pretty close to the I'm not saying 189, but you didn't have to like cut a lot of weight, or you wouldn't like, you didn't like, I'm not saying explode, but get like, some kids get a growth spurt and they go from like, 130 to like, like, you was 130 last year. How come you're 220? What's going on here?
No, my freshman year I walked into wrestling, and of course, like most kids, I had a lot of baby fat to lose. Mm-hmm. So I actually wrestled 160 my freshman and sophomore year, and my sophomore year it was a lot of trouble staying at 160, and then so junior year I went to 171, and then senior year I actually had to wrestle 189 because coming out of football during wrestling season, that was when they did the body fat test. Yeah. And it was a win-win for me. I didn't have to cut weight. I think at state I weighed in at 182 for weigh-in. So it was good for me, I guess.
And we'll talk about this your 2002 just in a second. But that was the first year of the 32-man bracket. They not abolished, but they just realigned the regions. So they had 8 regions. No, you had
they took districts out.
Districts. So you was just 32-man, but let's kind of talk a little bit about 2001 season. Kind of talk a little bit about what happened in 2001.
Yeah.
Now,
I had a really good season. I was 43-3. Unfortunately, there was a gentleman from Woodford County that I just seemed to get the best of me those 3 times.
So that was your only 3 losses all year.
I was in 2 years I lost to one man 3 times.
Really? And
he never lets me forget about it. You son of a.
Eric Slugans, Woodford County, 2-time state champion. You ran into him in 2001.
I did.
And you have the video of that. We're going to be meeting with Eric. It's just a matter of getting up with him. We've talked to him. He's already 100% on board. It's just finding the time for both of us to get together.
And you can watch the 2001 video. I mean, a guy wins a title after not actually scoring a point. I got called for stalling twice, and the match ended at 4-2, and so it was kind of, I wasn't happy about the match, but I love Eric. He's a good dude. I mean, I wound up in his wedding.
That's what I was going to say. I think you were in his wedding, so wrestling comes full circle. So kind of, I didn't know that. So I ended up 4-2, and so you got banged for stalling twice.
I did.
And so I guess, like, first period, second period, third period, do you remember, like, when the points happened?
Yeah, well, the first period, I think I got a warning in the first period, and then second period, I was down and I got a reversal on Eric, and then he got the escape point, and then I think somewhere in there I got, maybe the second period I got it tied up, and then third period he chose down and got 3-2.
Okay.
And then somewhere in there I think I got another one. Yeah, it was somewhere along those lines.
So it's still in debate, still a little bit of a touchy issue, as you can tell. So you get cheated by Eric in 2001. We'll call it cheated. No, I'm kidding, Eric. You know we love you. But you come off the mat in 2001, a little bit short of what you wanted. Mm-hmm. Going into that 2002 season as a senior, do you know this is my 189 pounds or whatever weight class I'm going into, whether it's Eric, whoever it is, I'm winning it as a senior?
I just, once I was done with my junior year, that summer, I trained and competed at nationals that year. Missed out on medaling, but I had a great experience with it. And then I just basically set my mind to it that nobody was going to outwork me, and I'm gonna be the best at it.
And undefeated season, state champion. You come through with your promise. Now, I'm not real familiar with like the geography of Louisville. I know the city pretty well, but as far as like each individual school, sure. You remember what like region you were in when you just like when they realigned?
Oh, I remember the schools that like in our the region tournament we always had St. X and Trinity and Atherton. I think a couple. Those are the main schools that I can remember off the top of my head. Eastern wasn't in our region, or Fern Creek. So it was the St. X and Trinity region.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up is, and don't trash my DMs for this, but there's used to be one Louisville region that was like just a blood murderer's row, and there was one that kind of maybe wasn't near as strong as the other one. Region was always
it was always a solid tournament. I know that you're either going to wrestle, a St. X or Trinity person in the finals,
Right.
and then I don't want to say always. There were always some guys that excelled at their school that would maybe surprise somebody here or there. But it was definitely it sets you up well for state.
And that was kind of what I was leading into is, you come from, like I said, one of the toughest regions in the state, and your first and second, maybe even your third round match wasn't as hard as maybe what your regional finals was the weekend before.
Oh, absolutely.
So you've had a really good test. I'm not saying you can rest, but you're not getting, a state champion level person that you, or maybe not even somebody that would even make it out of your region in your first or second, maybe even third rounds coming out of that very difficult Trinity, St. X side of Jefferson County. So it's kind of cool that, not just you, but people in that region got that competition, and you kind of knew what you was up against. All right, man, this kid we got to prepare for, or there's nobody going to be this difficult in the first or second round, maybe. And what we found doing these video series is some kids come in, nursing an injury on, like, maybe I can tough my way through the first day, not have to really exert myself, and then the second day, really, because if you're in the winner's bracket, you got your semifinals and finals. If I can get through the first day without anything, go out, push myself, get on the podium, maybe win it with an injury. So it's kind of cool that you have that tough competition.
You get
back-to-back
rewarded for doing well in the region. Because like you say, I mean, no offense to any of the guys that I wrestled in the first or second round, but it wasn't challenging competition from that standpoint. I mean, obviously anybody can be beaten on any given day, but and I didn't overlook anybody, but I didn't. Like I say, I didn't have to face that level of competition until the third and semifinal round.
Well, let's talk about that 2002 season. It does not have your record, but we know you're undefeated. Going right, okay. It's what I thought. I've done so many videos today. So you start off the day with Brian, and I think his name is Conquino, and if I mispronounced that, I'm sorry, from Tate's Creek. You win that by a fall in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So that's a pretty good way to start the day. You go on, you wrestle Troy Ricks from Paducah Tillman. You win that by another fall in 2 minutes and looks like 25 seconds. So two matches, 2 pins. You can't ask for much more. Yeah. You get to the quarterfinals. You're wrestling Max. It's either Mac or Max Sawyer.
Max Sawyer.
Max Sawyer from Fairdale. Now, was Fairdale in your region?
They were not.
Okay. No. So you got 2 Jefferson County guys going at it from different regions in the quarterfinals. And you win that by it's like a 16-4 major decision, which is pretty good. So you finish your first day 3-0, not going into that morning knowing that you're going to be in the semifinals. Mm-hmm. Now you're wrestling Josh Ison from Dixie Heights. Had you wrestled him before?
I had, but not that year.
Okay, and you win that by it's like a 10-7 decision. Like he was a pretty tough wrestler.
It was interesting. He is a very strong wrestler. It was that was an interesting match. I got a lot of penalty points for just random things, and so. But I just was a little bit of nerve in a semifinal match. You're just trying to not do anything stupid. Once you have the lead, just kind of protect it and get it to that finals.
And something too that we need to bring up is this was the first year, like I said, for the 32-man, but we're still at Frankfurt. We're running 4 mats. So we got, double the wrestlers. It was a 3-day tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that fatigue, but just the anxiousness of wanting to get out there and wrestle. I don't want to sit in the bleachers no more. I want to get up. I want to wrestle. Just I'm tired of watching everybody else, right? Just that I want to get out there and get mine done and get it over with. So I could see a little bit of.
There's definitely a big mental aspect to it. You want to keep your nerves calm, but you also want to stay focused on what you're there to do.
And in the finals, we're not going to tell you the score. We're going to watch along, of course. But you wrestled John Knight from Central Hardin. Now, had you wrestled John before?
We did. We wrestled twice that year.
Okay, and I guess you won both of them.
I did.
You said your dad won the state championship. Mm-hmm. I'd like to ask this question to guys that had their brothers or fathers or somebody in their family win, not necessarily a coach or a teammate, but like grew up, or went through school wrestling. Did your dad give you any piece of advice before the finals that he hadn't said before, like, this is a state championship level piece of advice that I'm holding out, just for this match or anything of that nature?
Not any kind of advice on what to do. Dad just told me, if he had to face me in 1970, he didn't think he could beat me. So it was, once your dad kind of tells you that, you're like, all right, I'm not losing this match. Right. It was a pretty special time. He was actually my assistant coach that year, so he got to sit in Matt's side and watch. Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, once Dad gives the nod, it's on.
Yeah.
It's once Dad gives like you're playing like with your cousins or neighborhood kids, and they're whatever it is, and you kind of look over at Dad, and he gives you the wink or nod. Hey, I'm going. Whether it's football or
you turn that other gear on.
You turn it on, and as long as Dad gives you the wink, that Mom's not going to say anything to you or whatever. So once Dad gives you the okay, it's on. But now, have you got to watch your match recently? Has it been years, or do you?
It's been a while, actually. Funny enough, probably 6-7 years ago, somebody asked me if I had it, and somebody recorded over it on the tape.
Oh my goodness!
So it's probably been 10-12 years since I've seen it.
Awesome. Is there any particular, before we watch it, anything like any certain situation or move that like you're wanting to see how it plays out? Maybe like you think it plays out some way, but you just want to like see it visually to confirm it, or?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine.
It was. I felt comfortable. After the first 30-40 seconds of the mat, that's when your heart rate's just rushing too much. And once you settle into the mat, once I settled into the match, it was I felt like I was in control.
Well, we've got it. We're going to go back to 2002. We're going to get on ICQ. You remember what ICQ was? And tell all our friends to watch it and check this out. I can't wait for Ben to get to see it. Let's hook it up to the TV. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys are seeing what we're seeing. We're at the Dungeon in Frankfort, and there's some guy here in the Woodford County warm-up that you're seeing, Eric Slugans. So I had to include this a little bit because 171, he's two-time state champion. We're going to, like I said, be meeting with him. But this video has the face-off, the finals, and the award ceremony. The 2002 copy did, so that's great. We're going to be able to, get the whole shebang here. So I'm excited. Let's do it.
All right. I can't believe I was that young.
Got to have the knee pad down around the ankle.
Oh man, that thing needed a good washing when I was done.
I can believe it. Seneca has a good color combination, that red and yellow. I like that.
Yeah.
You got J.J. Townsend on the whistle. Central Hardin has a good cheering section.
They had a bunch of people there.
All right, so right off the whistle, what we looking to do here?
I basically want to establish my back to the center of the mat.
Right.
And so what I like to do, and I caught John with it a couple times, is I would do basically an inside collar tie, and I would just do we always call it just a slide through.
Right.
And he was a big fan of trying to get underhooks, and I knew that, and so he was a lot taller than me. I think he was 6'3", and I'm 5'11".
Mm-hmm. So you can tell he's a tall guy right here.
Yeah.
We're out of bounds. We're neutral.
And so, I wanted to basically keep my low stance and keep in there. And what I try to do is go for a drag to try to boot scoot to his ankle.
Right.
And that's what I do here soon. I'm trying to isolate one of his wrists. There it is.
There it is. Nice job. So boom, get your 2.
And then I loved the tight waist. I would get that thing in there and just wrench your gut, and to the point that I wanted to hear you breathe, or like kind of go for air.
Right.
And so I felt like I could wear people out with that, and I was halfway decent on top, but I had good enough defense that you weren't going to take me down. I was just
nice job
pretty
right
solid
there.
on it.
So you get another takedown. So I got it 4-1.
4-1. So now I'm trying to swim for a wrist right now. Oh no, I'm trying to pick him up here, and that's not a good idea. He's a big old boy.
So it's kind of good though that you only gave up a point, because now you know you can't. That's a tactic you just can't use. Okay, he got up. I'm not trying that anymore.
Yeah.
Looking around the back of the crowd, see so many faces and stuff. Because this is 21 years ago.
Yeah. From here, I knew I had control of it, and I knew it was short time, so I was just, all right, let's hang out and see what happens here.
So your choice, you deferred, was that just automatic? Or?
Yeah, if I won, I always deferred. Which I guess it really did. I mean, I was always going to choose down regardless.
Right. All right, now, got a caution. The optional start, was that a tactical, or do you remember?
I honestly don't remember. Maybe I didn't want to get, it was probably conservative, I don't get caught anything stupid while you're on top of somebody, and so.
And especially with somebody's longer on the bottom, it's easy for the bottom man just to catch something.
Yeah, I mean, he probably had 15 pounds on me and 4 inches, and so it was. I liked being in neutral position. I felt really good about my defense. You just were not going to take me down.
A little bit of a push.
That's just pure adrenaline. Like I didn't have any hostility towards the guy.
Right? No. I'm just.
No. I know what you mean. It's just.
That's something as a referee, as you kind of grow, you kind of realize, some kids may give a little extra push, knowing they're, on the Sunday school or altar boy, they're knowing that they're great kids, but they get excited, they're going to give a little bit of a push, so you got to kind of learn to let, kind of read the room, so to speak.
There's so much adrenaline going right there, and it's just it's a fun yet very nerve-wracking
Now
experience.
you're working at underhook. Is that something you saw earlier?
I like the underhook series. I'd run an underhook for a high crotch or for a single leg, and I felt like I had better control over somebody's body holding an underhook with a collar tie.
There it is. Are you trying for a trip? Is what you're?
Well, I was trying to. Couldn't ever get him to push back into me. Like when I call up for that, I normally push into somebody really good, and when they come back, I get their momentum going, and I can usually take them straight down with it. This is our third time wrestling, and I already hit it on him a bunch, and so just kind of it wasn't going to work. So he kept trying to go for that bear hug, which I'm sure he was great at, but I wasn't going to let him get there.
Yeah. So the camera's got to be close to the Ben Best of Family cheering section.
That's my mom.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell immediately.
All right, so it's your choice. Going down. You got a lot of family here at this meet.
I do, yes. I had a lot of people.
And this is the official KHSAA copy, so Mom must have been close to the microphone or the recording device. So you both you guys have a caution, looks like. Trying for that switch. Reaching. Ooh, 1.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's close.
I didn't settle quick enough.
Yep.
I got a little too excited seeing where I was.
All right. Out of bounds.
Just kind of knew where we were.
Everybody got the glow sticks. This was like I said, every video at the dungeon. This by far was the best atmosphere the KHSAA ever produced for any sport.
I thought it was great, especially the way they would darken the rest of the arena and highlight the mat. Like it was, it was a fun experience. I guess I could say that because I won, but I just, as soon as I turned, I just kept running as fast as I could.
You can hear, I guess, your fans, young Vessel.
Yeah, I had a lot of my high school friends there and a lot of family.
And fresh in my memory, did Seneca have anybody else in the finals this year?
No.
All right, so you get your one. We're neutral.
I had a lazy shot, and I was trying to.
Got
I gave up a takedown because I was trying to hit a reversal, and I went with it to the wrong side, but I ended up getting the reversal anyway.
Yeah.
I think at this point there's short time, and I think it's 9-6 right now if I can remember correctly. And so I would imagine there's less than 30 seconds left, and so I believe I just cut him here and just kind of
We'll start again.
Yeah, just.
Can you remember hearing your dad or anybody in the crowd, or just everything was blocked out? Or?
No, I can't remember hearing anything. I guess I was wrong about that. I had one more takedown on him. Like I say, it's been forever.
He's got a long arm, man.
He does.
Go gadget
I
arm.
wasn't gonna let go of them hips, though.
Smart.
Oh no, I am wrong. Yeah, we do go back and I ride him, and I almost get a turn on this. I think. As I try to wrench that arm down.
Mm-hmm. All right, stands up. This is one. We're neutral.
Yeah, it's 9-7.
Up.
And that's
There it is. I love the headgear toss. Is that mom in the?
That's either mom or my aunt. I had a couple aunts up there too. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Oh yeah.
It's fun because it ended the way we wanted it to end.
Yeah, exactly.
So John was a good fellow. Got to talk to him a little bit during the award ceremony.
Of course.
And I think Kyle actually won it the next year.
I know he won. I'm not sure exactly if it was 03 or 04, but I'm pretty sure he does win. This is the first year, too, of awarding 8 places.
That's right, yeah.
On the wrong side of the podium. Come on, Bubby. You still have your medal and brackets and everything?
I do. They hated the fact that I didn't wear my school jacket, but I wore that sweatshirt every wrestling tournament for 2 or 3 years, and so that gray sweatshirt and those Seneca shorts.
That's what you're comfortable in, man.
It's funny what you get used to in a little.
It is. It is. And that's the end of the video, man. So face-off match and award ceremony. Any memories jog? Anything?
It's fun seeing it again. I didn't quite remember it that way, but I can't believe it's been 20 years.
Yeah, Eric Slugans actually edited it, sent me to it, so he was actually seizing some Photoshops. No, we're kidding.
I'm sure.
We're kidding. We're kidding. But man, you wrestled good. Wrestled very smart. You done a lot of senior moves, like backing out, like when you turned in, backing out quick as you could, just little things like that. Josh Muncie actually done that. We done Josh Muncie's 2001 189 pound, and he was wrestling Charlie Scruggs from Eastern, and Josh, he even says in the video, he's like, I had no intentions of getting this. I just wanted to do something to get out of bounds, and that was, like I said, a very veteran, very senior move. Knowing you was in a trouble spot, but you backed out, and just little things like that, staying to your tight waist, knowing what you were good at, not trying anything, not getting under the lights and trying to play hero ball. Or
I remember talking with Dean, and we both kind of we weren't thrilled with the way we wrestled in our finals match, but it's just, especially your senior year, you're not really going out there to throw flair, and you're there to win and go home.
You're there to win, and that's. Watching seniors, you can tell a difference in like seniors wrestling. I'm not saying that like you say, okay, this kid's a senior, this kid's a junior, but you can tell a person that's been around the sport a while. You can tell that like when the senior is there to make a statement, they're not going to try anything crazy. Yeah. They're not going to get out and try the jumping three-handled spinning moss-covered verdunzel or whatever. They're going to do a shot. They're going to do, like I said, tight waist, maybe run half if needed. Just what they have to do to win.
That's exactly right.
Wrestling like a dad.
That's
you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
So that's exactly what you've done. You've done exactly what got you there, and it showed. And you're on in history books forever. Did you get a ring?
I did.
Did you? You still have it?
I do.
Cool.
Yeah. Of course, like everything else, with trophies, medals, everything is all at my mom's house.
That's what I'm finding. And somebody's wanting to be on the video. They're realizing we're doing it. So if maybe have to get mom to dig them out and then send us some photos and put in the video or whatever. But
absolutely.
Any closing thoughts? Anything about your time at Seneca, or just anything about wrestling in general?
Wrestling was a great thing in my life. It's one of those things. It definitely provides you with a lot of confidence, and as long as you're willing to put the time in and get there, because it's one of the few sports, it's you and that other guy. Like, you have a team, but there's nowhere else to hide if you're having a bad day.
Exactly.
It definitely helps prepare you for a lot of life lessons, and I wouldn't trade my experience with wrestling for anything.
That's a good way to end the video. Thank you to Ben for letting me come to his beautiful home here in Louisville and doing the video. We've been messaging, talking back and forth, seems like since the series pretty much started in January, and I was able to get down here today and meet with Ben and do his video. So now we've got a 1969 Seneca State Champion on the channel, and we have a 2002 Seneca State Champion. So we've got pretty much the whole gamut covered, and so you guys can enjoy this. And Eric, you can leave the comments below of how bad Ben was, or how you can defend yourself for saying that you didn't cheat. Being in the 2001 state finals and all that. No, I can't wait to get Eric's side of the 2001 story.
I'm sure he will have plenty to say.
It was he probably come in both ACLs torn, both rotators cuff torn, all that, fighting the flu, all this kind of stuff. Just any element to get the advantage. But no, thank you for letting me come. I really appreciate it. That's all we got from Ben's house here today in Louisville. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on the mats.